Hello and welcome to Decorate It. My name is Mary and this is Wes, and tonight is episode 8. And we're going to be talking about customizing real seats tonight with the help of some other members from the Southern Rod Builders who shared some of their customizations as well.
There were some pretty awesome customizations turned in on that.
About 80 different photos, so you guys are going to get this really cool kind of slideshow where Wes and I talk about it as well. And for those that will be listening on it later on, I will be trying to describe in detail what we were looking at so that everybody kind of gets
Synopsis.
a view, whether it's mentally or physically. So Wes, why don't you talk about some of the customizations that we've done to some of our real seats?
So we haven't dove into like turning the acrylics and doing that type of stuff personally. We've used it on some of our builds, like this fly rod that we did. We had Ron Weber turn a burl and acrylic stabilized mixture. You know, some of the things that we've personally done is this challenge build that we took and basically cut the center of the seat out of it, glued each end up with the threads in the hood, but then took the center and put a leather, I don't know what you'd call that, but
it's basically like a strap
insert.
And an insert, but it's an insert. You just wrapped it
Wrapped it and stitched it and then embossed it with the logos of what we used. Let's see. One I personally did.
That was back before me and you were...
No, it's just 2014.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were working on that one.
But it's proof I did a cross wrap. It is hideous as sin. But what I did was take YLI variegated thread or fishhawk or CRB or whichever brand it was at the time. I think this time it was YLI because I bought it directly from the factory.
Is that orange sunburst or something?
Yeah, sunburst or sunset. But just basically took it the entire length here, did a plate rail seat, and then opposing colors to tie it off. So it's got a black with orange, orange with black, and then a black with orange.
And you actually did well, and then when you tied it on there, you put a little trim also inside of that little piece here. But Wes did a few different techniques on this one. He tried a little bit of marbling up at the top, and
that I actually finished with a matte finish originally, and it's since worn off because you can kind of still see it right here.
Yeah, fun little thing, little Halloween rod, if you will. That's kind of what the vibe on
I
that
built
one
that
is.
at Halloween in 2014, actually.
I know you finished it about that time. And then the other one we didn't do. We sent it off to be done, and that once again is Hulk Buster with Adam Lathrop is the one that painted it to look like Hulk. And he did at the end, which is, it's really hard to photograph or show people on the camera, but at the edge of the hood, he painted it with like the silver metallic kind of.
It's like a pearlescent.
It shimmers kind of. It's supposed to represent his arc
reactor.
His arc reactor. Some other customizations, which we will get into seeing the pictures in just a minute, but you can do engraving, which we've got some examples of that. You can have other people engrave it for you.
Yep.
Painting, obviously, is one of those things. And when you paint them, you just kind of have to deal with the fact it's going to get chipped every once in a while. You're going to lose a little bit of that paint, but for the most part, it holds up really well.
And there's hydro dipping, which is the paint film.
You can hydro dip them. Longevity of that, I don't know personally, but I would assume it's the same thing as paint. Anodizing can be done on certain types of material. It has to be titanium.
And you can also, you could Cerakote it. You just have to watch the tolerances on the threads and make sure that whatever you're putting on that real seat is still going to allow the threads to turn and lock.
Yeah, other stuff that can be like cutting them apart and putting them back together, or gluing them on there and leaving the section in the middle open to do thread work or to wrap leather around or any number of things in that section.
You could use vegetables.
Vegetables?
Vegetables.
What do you mean vegetables?
We'll show pictures of it later, but
What vegetables?
anything that can be stabilized can be turned into an insert.
I know what you're talking about now. Jesus,
A veggie.
I was like,
A veggie.
I'm not really sure about that. You can also...
You can airbrush.
Airbrush them. You can do all kinds of stuff with the inserts.
Any type of laminate material.
Even the thin fake leather stuff can be placed in there. But yeah, so it's a multitude of things that you can do. It's kind of one of those, think outside the box kind of things. You know, we don't have to leave the real seat as is when we buy it. We can cut it apart and put it back together, or put an insert in it or something. Anyways, let's get to looking at what some of the other
There are a lot of
80
options.
photos of things that people sent in. So I try to put everybody's name on here that added the photos in, so that I could give them credit and explain kind of what they did. So this is by Anthony Palladora, and he did a aluminum and stabilized wood hood on this.
Wood hood.
A wood hood, if you will. A wood hood good.
Which it looks really good, too.
I think he did it really nicely. I kind of like the contrast between like the aluminum and the wood along with the actual real seat. So that was pretty fun. And then our next one, this one is by Dean Ryan. So Dean actually airbrushed underneath of the real seat insert with like, it looks almost like scales. It's gold, and he's got the what real seat is that? Is that Alps with the cutouts?
Looks like an Alps, yeah.
Not exactly sure, but it's got the open sides where you can show something underneath of it. He airbrushed in between that. It's got gold hoods, and he matched up with like black and burl with cork as well. And as far as the aesthetics of this photo,
That looks good.
it's a really good looking photo too. He did really good with that. He has a rock background behind this, so pretty awesome little thing here.
That's my favorite.
That's another one Dean Ryan did. It is a hydro dipped Winthrop butt, and the pattern on it, if we get to it, I don't know if it's next or not, but it has Deadpool on it.
There
See?
he is.
There he is, Deadpool, and it looks like the bottom of Buzz Lightyear's on there too. It looks like his feet.
I need that pattern to hydro dip some things.
Right?
I've got some things that I could put that on.
Yeah, like that's a really fun, and he did really good with his photo with it, taking his photos too. Derek Beamer. Sorry if I say anybody's name wrong. I'm terrible. So he's actually taken the American Tackle Aero seat. He cut it.
Put a wrap underneath. The AT is painted separately from how the rest of the seat's painted. It's all the little things that you can do.
I really like the color aesthetics he went with this. I'd actually be curious to see what the rod looks like he put this on. Another one of Derek, but once again, he's cut it apart and put it straight to the blank on this time, but he's painted it as well.
We also got the different hood option on the top.
He changed out the hood. So Don Livingston, he has quite a few in here. So what he did for these two is he did cross wraps on the inserts. Looks like one's a snowflake and one is a chevron. And I mean, cool little thing. Like it just adds character. It doesn't take much time, honestly. It's just a little bit of work. Working on something that short is a little aggravating. So he did pretty good with that. It looks like he probably wrapped the tube separately from adding.
That's what it would appear like, yeah.
Because he's got it way too close.
No tie-offs.
No tie-offs. It's good. It's done very well. More of Don Livingston. So I actually asked him specifically what these were because I could see what two of them were. They're definitely dragon scales. One was done with the gold leaf technique that Bill Falconer taught. The copper-looking one that he also has the dragon scale on is actually not metallic or a gold leaf like I thought it was. It's actually flat copper ribbon, I believe is what he said, or something similar to that. And the one on the little kind of green shimmery looking one is actually a material that's very, he can't remember what the name of it was, but it was like a rod sock material.
It's like a chenille material for fly tying.
Okay. And then the one on the right, which is basically a black and white kind of glitter looking thing, is just thread, I believe. But he said that he got the idea from Ray Coates. He unfortunately is no longer alive, but wanted to make sure that he gave Ray Coates credit for the techniques that he's using now, which I thought was pretty
Especially
awesome.
with the fly tying materials, and because I think he got it from his fly shop that his wife still runs.
Yep, I believe so. The next one, another one of Don's. Don's loaded right after each other. So that's just basically all of those that we just looked at again, just in a different light. Looks like there's an extra one underneath there that he put a couple trims on. And there's a blue one this time instead of the silver kind of black looking one. So really cool little, customizations. This one is by Garrett Honecker. So I have to zoom in on this for you guys to understand how awesome this is, because underneath this real seat is actually cork. And it's a cork material that has gold flake in it. And it's really hard to see in this photo. But when we go to this one and we look at it really close, you see the gold flake running through it.
That's sharp.
It is sharp. And I actually got in a conversation with him last night. It's actually a fabric. It's like a
Fabric?
thin cork kind of material that his wife came across. And he couldn't tell me what it was called or anything, but he was like, yeah, it's got gold flake in it. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. That's another picture of Garrett's build together. So you can kind of see as we zoom in on this, that there's some gold flake in that entire thing. Glenn Goss. So he did a lot of stabilized wood that he turned down. This is one of them, which I actually really enjoy. Normally, I'm like a straight, solid background. Like
Yeah.
but I really enjoy the sunflowers behind it. But that dark green looks really nice. Another one of Glenn's that came through at the same time. I enjoy the orange and gold kind of aesthetic that's going on with this entire build. Another one that he did, stabilized wood. I enjoy the shapes that he comes up with these.
Yeah.
This is actually really nice, especially that little extra trim that's up at the top, right there at the wood.
Yeah. I like the wood that like this that has the darker lines running through it.
Mm-hmm. We have a burl kind of
Tendency
or favoritism, whatever you want to call it. Some more Glenn's work too that he was mocking up. Some more of his stabilized wood that he turned. And this was another one of Glenn's too. Now he said stabilized wood, but I swear that looks like acrylic. But it could be stabilized wood, and I just don't know. But this one is specifically, it looks like a thunderstorm almost to me.
Yeah, it definitely makes me think of thunder and lightning.
Yeah, like it's the gray kind of charcoal with little white spots running through it that looks like the clouds, and like the yellow reminds me of lightning going crazy. So that one's really pretty. Glenn sent a few. That's another version. I guess that's black. I couldn't really tell.
Kind of looks like a color shift almost.
Yeah. But it's some form of stabilized wood.
With the black-eyed Susans.
Mm-hmm. That's another one that he did. That one's like a really dark kind of green brown. I think it's actually brown, but I'm not sure, with the copper.
It's kind of that almost bronze style of fly seat that you always see.
Mm-hmm. So Hoove actually was showing that he used the cork for the locking top on this. And he actually has quite a few of ones. Apparently his all loaded side by side too.
Have we seen that rod in person?
Not this one, but we did see the other one. We might have seen this one because I felt like that was at the show.
I've held that rod.
I felt like that was at the show, but what he did on this one was both of these sides are quick locks.
Oh, okay.
So he's only got like a short little bit of threading in between that, and it just right on there. And I thought that was kind of nifty.
That's a pretty neat idea.
Mm-hmm. This is another one of Hoove's.
Little dragon scale underneath.
Did a dragon scale underneath, so you can see it through where the blank is exposed under that real seat. And it's a, copper?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
This is the one.
I know we've seen that one.
Yeah, this is the one that definitely came to the show. But he actually printed something. I believe it was printing. He kind of explained it, but he's French, and the translation doesn't exactly translate exactly the way it's supposed to be. So, but it's either printed or he actually dug it out. I cannot remember exactly, but I remember seeing this at the expo this year. I think it was in one of the challenges.
But I've held this rod, and it was really awesome.
And, I know we're talking about real seats tonight, but can we just take a moment and appreciate those grips that he's got,
the lace
kind of fishnet look going on with that, because that's just sublime, in my opinion.
Sublime.
You like that word? Throw that word out there. Sublime. Another one of Hoove's. This one's a very dark photo, but that's how he sent it in to me. He's cut the real seat once again, put the dragon sail in, and actually what he did was, I believe he said this, a flag reel seat. And
that he split apart and opened up to make it fit a spinning reel.
Fit a spinning reel, yep. Very cool little thing to do there.
Which, I mean, I personally love the Lemke titanium seats. Mm-hmm. If I could, I'd use them on every build we do.
I know. They look good.
Like, they look good, they feel good, they're lightweight. Why not cut them apart and make it what you need?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, any real seats like that, though, I'm preferring those Aero real seats here lately because of the way they fit in my palm. And the kids love them because it's easy to use. And you've seen some of the stuff other people have done for them.
And now I got new ideas for it.
Yeah, you got new ideas for it. And now they've added more things. This was another example of his quick lock that he did. So that particular, I don't know what material that is. It
looks like a corn cob.
It's not a corn cob, though, but it has that texture. But it's not. It looks like wicker almost, like wicker furniture.
I mean, I've open a magnolia cone, and it looked like that before too. So, but it could be any number of things.
It could. I mean, who knows? I'll have to ask him. I wish I had the time to ask him before we had to do the show, so I could be like, oh yes, it's this material. Underneath that material that he's put on there has just 4 threads in the inside that he used for another quick lock, as he keeps calling them. So
the locking nut of the real seat.
Moving on to Jake. I really don't know how to say Jake's last name. But Jake he turned this down from I think he said it was box elderwood
Yes.
that was dyed. And
Stabilized
and all that jazz.
Yep.
But his entire rod, you can see up the fork.
And there's another one that, I don't know if you put it in there, but it showed the block form of what he used.
I did not put the block in because I didn't want, if
you're interested in seeing it, go to the post and it's on there.
Yeah, if you want to check out all of the photos that people submitted, minus like maybe there's like one or two butt pieces or like a guide that was inserted in there to match the rod, or like if they showed the actual blocks it was turned from. I didn't have it because there's 80 photos already. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to get it done in time. Okay, so this is really fun. This is another hydro dip that was done by Jared Klauser. We the People. How cool.
On an arrow seat. There's so much real estate on that seat.
There's so much real estate on that seat. I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy customizing that seat, because you can do so much on that real seat.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And if you don't know what the Arrow real seat, it's the American Tackles. Mm-hmm. And look at it. But he hydro dipped this one, and if it goes plan, yes, this is the other one that he did as well. It's the American flag that's on there. And you just can't hardly tell because it's such a dark photo.
Yeah.
But another hydro dip option.
More stabilized wood, it looks like.
This is Jeff Byrne. I do believe that is acrylic. That looks very acrylic. I don't think that's stabilized wood. He was doing some fun stuff, which in the next couple of photos, this is Jeff Byrne is pouring his own reel seats.
Okay.
Look at that. That's nifty to think about, but probably it took a long time to get that perfected of actually getting it done. But it gives you something to think about, that's for sure. This is another one of his that he did. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger.
That's nice.
It's very nicely done reel seat. It looks like he turned it and then also printed on there either with a label or something, or a sticker or something.
Mad swirl.
So this went a little backwards, but Jeremy Reed, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Jeremy Reed from 2014 to 2022, I believe is what he said, he was making all of the Mad Swirled marble reel seats that Mudhole was selling. These beauties right here. And yes, so that was the photo he submitted. He was making all those for you guys, and that's really cool looking.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit with this stuff,
It
you
is.
know? Joe Nicklow. So, first off, aesthetics on this photo was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Secondly, that's really pretty acrylic. And I really enjoy what he did with the ends of his grip, where he's got the black and the white trim bands going along with it. But it's done very nicely. Really nicely, actually. Another one of Joe's. Once again, aesthetics on the photo. Big win for me.
I like feathers behind it.
I like feathers behind it, too. Moving on to Kent Dry. Anyways, he turns his on acrylic. He actually have an insert for a wood reel seat. Like, the insert is wood that he made us, and we got it at Secret Santa. No, I'm sorry. He sent it to me earlier in the year as a gift. Don't look at me like that.
Where's this?
It's in my container over there. I've got to do something with it.
What else you got hiding in that container?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyways, this is a fire. It looks almost like a Harley Davidson. I hide stuff from you.
Apparently.
Kent's really good with turning down acrylic and making these awesome reel seats and trim bands and stuff. That's actually another. It's the same rod we were just looking at, but with also a blue version sitting beside it. His name is Little B. Bailey on Facebook. So Little Bailey. He put thread work underneath his reel seat. And this is
I like how that reel seat's flipped.
Mm-hmm. It looks pretty good. Real fun little side thing. Mark Krause. We're getting into some of the stuff that Mark did. This particular build is actually an American Tackle winner for the International Challenge build. They actually carry that rod.
One of them.
They actually carry this rod around with him. This is the side of the reel seat. This is another one that Mark did where he put something else underneath of it.
With a different
color.
Piece holding it in at the top.
Mm-hmm. And that little thread nut up at the top's got little holes machined into it. Well, they're not even all the way through. They're just like little character additions, little dots kind of engraved. That's the side view of it. It's a better view, actually, of the ends that he added to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one Mark Krause did. So he's got the autism puzzle pieces that he put in between his. So this was the counterpart to the autism rod that I built, because I was also in a collaboration with him and Thomas Snyder. Well, this was Mark Krause's version with Thomas Snyder. So he did the natural one with all the different puzzle pieces being different shades of brown and stuff. And he also put the puzzle pieces in his reel seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. Cute aesthetic idea. Now this is another one. So he's got the word century on the insert, so he machined that down. And I'm guessing that due to how it looks, he's probably actually engraved that in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing him, this is another one that he engraved. Little fish scales kind of running around the outside of his hoods and stuff, and on his trim band that he has for the real seat. And this is Scrimshaw.
The alligator.
He did the alligator, yeah. If anybody's seen this particular build, he actually made his guide on that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that had the...
It was a gator.
It was a gator for the first
It was
guide.
the alligator.
Mm-hmm. But he actually took Scrimshaw and etched out an alligator figure and then put it as the insert for the real seat. The man's a genius. Another one that Mark Krause did.
Another arrow.
Another arrow that's been cut apart. Apparently, that's the go-to seat to cut apart and put back together because it just fits really, really nicely with acrylic.
I mean, it does look good.
It does. It's sleek. And now they have the new body
Mm-hmm.
on it as well. So
That you can put inserts and different things in.
Mm-hmm. Another one of Mark's. This is one of his that he's turned down from wood. A different version of the same concept where he's turned down stabilized wood. Another arrow that's been cut. This one
Looks
is...
like it's got acrylic in it.
Yep, that one's acrylic. Ooh, the name got missed out on this one. This one's Mark's. And that was the other photo that should have been with the first one. But that's... It's funny because the real seat's got him taking the photo in it.
Right.
But that entire rod is really beautiful. It's...
Especially with that Juma scale handle.
Yes, that Juma is just amazing. I can't wait to play with that one day.
Very soon.
And Matthew, that particular insert here is really pretty.
Yeah.
It's got that wave and the turquoises and the browns and stuff. I really enjoy that.
Ooh, that gives me an idea.
Ooh, see, look. Inspiring stuff already.
There's something sitting over there we can make into a real seat insert.
Nice. Okay. Some more of his work where he's put stuff in the insert section of the real seats. Very pretty. I like the peekaboo. I'm a big fan of the peekaboo because
Yeah.
it just gives it a little bit more character, you know? And this is also another one of
That
his
matches
he
really
did.
well.
That matches entirely well. Like, and then you go on up here to his wrap. Like, he carried it through very nicely. And that's another one of his seats that he's done. Scoot the photo over so it's a little bit more center. Michael Ward. He submitted a pretty good bit, too. And this one, he's got the...
It's like a blue textilium.
underneath the real seat, matched it up with changed the hood's rings out to match it. This was another fun one he did. He did a red version, but this is the one he did for the challenge this year.
Yeah.
And he changed the hood and he made it out of EVA.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like a aluminum piece to lock it on at the edge. This rod was really fun. You remember this rod?
Is that the one he had cut out?
That's the one that they had the deep sea
Yeah.
kind of thing on
Nemo.
it. Nemo was in it. Yep. He also weaved. There's another thing you can do. You can weave under those little inserts. He's got the American flag on this one.
I've always been a fan of those different metal hoods that are available.
Mm-hmm. Another weave in the section that's left open by Michael Ward.
I can't comment on this one.
Yeah, North Carolina State.
I can't. It'd just be mean.
All right, Nick.
Hell,
Terrible with names, guys, but
we will butcher your name.
especially me. I can't even say words normally, so turned down wood, made a real seat out of the pieces. This one was also by Nick, and he did
That's
a
pretty.
wrap and then put the trims,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's wood.
Looks like it, yeah.
And then there's some more. I love the color of this wood.
You know, that'd be really cool to do with the stabilized colored pencil idea.
Yep. I've always wanted to do a colored pencil kind of grips. I think that would be fun. This one is by Regis. First off, kudos on the photo because, hey, it's on a beach. Secondly, that hood that he has on there, I don't even know what the white material is mixed with that burl,
But that's really cool.
but it's cool looking. And then, obviously, it matches really well with the wrap that he chose to do, too. Going to Rob Starzik. We turned down some acrylic. Can't see Rob's name very well because I didn't want to take away from the photo. Probably two of my favorite color combinations together. Loving the turquoise and the green. Another one of Rob Starzik's turned down wood. He actually made the real seat out of the wood. And he also had some fun photos that he took with red as well. So that's another one that he entered in. I think that looks like stabilized wood.
Yeah.
I think that's the same photo that we just saw, but just in a different form. But another staple, that wood that he had that he made the real seat out of.
Mm-hmm.
Which kudos to him. Another one by Rob.
Looks like stabilized wood too.
Yep, and that carbon fiber mixed with that wood, mixed with the hardware on that. That's a good look. That's
very
classy.
clean. Yeah.
That's classy. That's just straight up classy. All right, so this is where Wes was talking about the vegetables earlier. I knew that Ron.
It's corn.
It's a corn cob. He stabilized a corn cob and put it in a real seat insert. He had this one, and I don't know if the purple one made it in there because there were so many photos, but he also dyed a couple corn cobs, and the edges of it would take the color. So you would keep the middle center would be kind of yellow, and the outside would be kind of the color. But yeah, it's a corn cob. I thought it was just the funnest thing. I actually requested him post that picture so I could talk about it. And then this is another one of Ron's that he obviously is Southwest Custom Rods. And, you know, if you're looking for Lemke seats, he's the man to go to because he's the one that is turning them and selling them. And has a collection of stabilized wood. I can't even imagine how much it cost him, but they're all beautiful. How is the
Every time we ask him for a picture of what's available, I'm like, oh Lord, it's going to take us 4 days just to look through it.
When we were asking about the green for that rod,
There were 16 different options of green and brown.
different greens and browns, and I was like, oh man, I don't know. Some more of the wood inserts that he has. That it looks like a burl, but I'm not positive. I don't want to speak for the man who is the professional in this. And more of his real seats as well. I mean, the color options he has. And honestly, the color options that are available for stabilized wood.
And you can take the same inserts and do it in other conventional or spinning reel seats.
He had a casting. That was the corn cob was set up for the casting. You know, you don't have to just do the fly reel seats per se. And then this one, which is like a striped one that's been put together. Kind of cool. What is that? Is that blue or purple?
It looks blue, from what I can tell.
Yeah, the screen's distorted.
We're having to look like 6 feet away from us to get a big picture.
We'll go with the blue purple, and then we can't be wrong, right?
Right.
With the light colored wood background. All right, so this is by Tomas Koba. This is what I would consider an easy. I had to enlarge his thing. I don't know why it saved it so small, but he did just in between on the insert part. He just did a wrap, and it's just
like a decorative trim, like
trims basically, what you would see under wrap is what he put in there. Where you had
it'd be a good way to tie all that together.
Yep, something in the middle, something on the edges, and yeah, if you did that exact same way for your guides all the way up, cool. You know, thought it was done. I mean, it's done nicely. You know, you don't have any epoxy on the threads or anything like that. So, and this was another one that saved awfully small for some reason, but same thing by Tomas. And he did multiple colors, and it looks like probably multiple like bands. The photo got really blurry or something. He's got looks like there's some olive branches mixed in there, but a lot of different colors on that one.
It's a lot of start and stop and pick up and start.
Yeah, that's a lot of exchanging of threads in that little area for sure. And then this one of the only photos of his that saved big for some reason. He's got the wood, stabilized wood as the insert and as also the foregrip. Now we come to TJ Potter.
TJ, we need to talk.
TJ Potter. So his photo that he submitted is pretty big. So what he did. Now he put these in really late, like sometime early this morning, and I never actually got a chance to speak to him about it, so I'm just guessing at this point in time. But if you want to know for a fact, go find the post in Southern and ask him what he did. But it looks like he legit painted the insert. And TJ, did you do the grip? Like, I need to know whether or not you actually painted that grip or not, because that is awesome. Like, that whole thing, that's cool. That is literally taking a theme rod and making it a theme all the way, in my opinion. I'd be interested. Well, he's got a little photo.
We need to talk about that grip.
I know. That grip's cool, right?
I might go on the post now.
Some more of TJ's work where he's put basically labels and company names and stuff on the inserts. This one in particular is the ABF Freight, so I guess that's who the person worked for. I'd
hope so.
Yeah, these are 3 different reel seats, but he's got one that's got another logo for the top and the bottom, and in the middle it's engraved in some way, shape, or form. It's not scrimshaw, but it's been cut out of this white material underneath that wood kind of color. So I don't know how that
Maybe
leaf is done.
Maybe it's a bleached wood that's been burnt.
I don't, because like when you zoom in on it, like it's legit been cut. So unless he's maybe painted the top layer and then cut it out, I don't know. But that's what leaves the question. Like, that's pretty cool. And it looks really, really nice. But he's got the bottom where he's got more of the company logos, and up on top, which I think that's actually a neat little trick, to stick the company logos
in that section.
In that little section. Kind of like what we did when we cut our real seat apart.
Be good for retirement gifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're doing like...
If somebody liked the company they were with. Well, if you retire from there, I hope you like it.
Right. So basically customizing real seats, like... It's endless. You know, we go from painting to the hydro dipping, which I swear that Winthrop butt's going to be stuck in my head for a long time. Dean Ryan, you might have created a monster.
Because any metal seat now, I'm going to want to, hey, can we hydro dip it?
Yeah, just have to have a container big enough for it. And
I mean, it's a real seat or a butt. Like, it's not bigger than this.
Right. And I've got plastic containers that can house that. Like, no joke.
Metal containers, anything. Like,
yeah,
I'm looking at one right now that could house it.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in this where we can do stuff.
And you can do it with spray paint too.
You can do it with spray paint.
Where you do like the rings of color.
Yeah. I mean, there's the YouTube videos for the hydro dipping
there's films on Amazon.
Like you can order films. Yeah, you just got an idea. There we go. What I was saying is you can hydro dip, you can do stabilized wood, and you cut the real seats apart. You can paint them. You can engrave some stuff. I mean, granted, majority of us are not going to be able to afford an engraver, like a true engraver.
No, those. Ooh.
But it is something that you can think about. A lot of people do acrylic and stabilized wood. That's
vegetables.
Pretty common. And then you could. If I implore you guys, so we were talking about the colored pencil stabilization, like that whole thing. What they do is a lot of these stabilized items is they'll take colored pencils. Like this one particular guy was making a bowl out of it. I think I saw.
Yeah.
He had a big bowl that he put a bunch of colored pencils in, all different. Like I don't know how many he used. It was like 100 and something. I think
it was probably more than that. But
and they're all sticking straight up. And then he dumps clear resin into it, lets it dry. I'm sure he put it in a vacuum because putting that much resin into that big bowl...
Depends on which resin he used, but yeah.
Would have air pockets in it or, bubbles or something. But anyways, he went and put it on his lathe and he turned it down. And that was the coolest looking thing I'd ever seen in my life because the colors were like... The pencil would keep the same color all the way through, but it would be going through the different like shapes as it went down into the actual turn and
the
curves
angles and all as it turns.
How cool would that be to have a grip like that? Or even a trim ring. Like if you could just turn down little checks and stuff. But I would check out some of these videos where they're pouring this stuff, and turning these different things, these different random materials. I watched the guy turn Legos inside of acrylic one time.
Mm-hmm.
That one wasn't a very good ending result, but I mean, he tried.
Yeah, but if you did enough acrylic or resin around it to where the image of the Lego still stayed intact.
Without ripping it apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking more of like the little figurines and things and put those in a grip or insert.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could always drill through the body and it's not going to affect anything as long as you can see the outside of it.
Right. Absolutely.
Without it melting the plastic as you get to it.
We are going to move on to talking about our featured tool, which is going to be the new CRB tweezer set kit.
Have all your thread tools at the ready with a CRB 7-piece tweezer set, containing 7 surgical-grade stainless steel tweezers with assorted styles and designs useful for a variety of rod building, lure making, or fly tying projects. All housed in a premium oak storage case. Available now at mudhole.com.
And you got all of these different tips on these tweezers.
I think that's my favorite one.
I like those. Those are what we call precision tweezers. There's 2 different versions of those. I actually used this version on the live because of how tight the tip was, or tiny the tips of it was. They are really good at picking up tiny stuff like the dried flowers and the little diamonds and things like that.
I didn't think we would need as many tweezers as is in this box until we got this box.
I've already used all of them for something at one point in time or day. So that is something I highly recommend. We want to thank our sponsors, Foundation Outdoor Group, because I just got officially named as the brand ambassador for the company, and I'm actually really excited to work along with them. Very excited to see what's going to happen with that, with traveling and teaching and continuing to do the things that I've been doing and helping other people as well. So, and thank obviously American Tackle for starting this endeavor, believing in me last year whenever they became a brand ambassador. And Mudhole, customizing your reel seats can be anything and everything above. Think about feathers you could put under there. We didn't see any feather inlays. We did see
you could definitely do that.
You could put dried flowers in those little peekaboo sections. The dragon scale is a great idea. Decorative wraps, obviously, we saw a few of those. Not too many, but a few. Take a page out of Ray Coates' book, who taught Don Livingston to use the fly tying materials for it. You could also use, obviously, box elder, the dragon scales that Bill Faulkner's been teaching.
And you could do cork as an insert.
Cork
and shave it.
You could do glitter in those little spots. You could do
bones.
You could. Like the antler.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about
you can put blood in the insert.
You're getting that idea off of Chris Licht. Chris Licht did a bones.
I happened to look at the sugar skull up there and thought, oh, you could do bones. A rib bone would be cool.
You could put little decals in that section, stickers. You could nail decals, all kinds of stuff. Anything tiny that will fit in those little insert sections. Perfect.
Sky's the limit. It's really just, if nothing else, and you're not going to customize anything else, take the reel seat, split it apart, and put something in the middle.
That's one thing that we didn't actually talk about. How do you cut them apart without?
You can take a Dremel. You can take a jeweler's saw.
Give me
a hacksaw. You can take a bandsaw.
Safest is probably the Dremel.
Dremel or bandsaw.
Bandsaw's
be safe
more
about
accurate.
I don't want to see you posting that you cut your thumb off because of our episode, but
use a fence. Do something.
Be cautious. Whatever you have that is available and safe to do so.
And if we're going to paint them, I don't know the proper steps to tell you how to paint them.
No, if somebody orders a rod from us and they want it painted,
we ship it.
It's going to Don Schaefer.
Don Schaefer's the expert in this opinion.
End of story. I'm not. And there's so many people that do such a good job on inserts and painting and stabilized wood and all these other mediums that, if you don't want to take the time to get all the things necessary to build it and test it and do it, you can't just buy it.
Yep. Absolutely. And they've got all these fun little inserts now that you can buy, the carbon fiber ones and all kinds of stuff from, I know American Tackle had 5 or 6 different ones for one of the reel seats we used.
And even all the American Tackle and the Fuji and CRB ones that are kind of expanded away from the blank. I think Fuji's like a TVS, and there's an American Tackle version, and all these other ones that it's open internally.
Yeah, but there's a lot of real estate underneath that, to an extent. You want to keep it flush and everything, but reel seats nowadays, especially the ones that have the cutouts and stuff, and if you're going to do that and you're not going to put it straight to the blank, you would have to leave room for something you were designing. So if you bought one that fits and it slides right on there, then you're not going to be able to put anything under it. You might be able to glue it on there and maybe come back with paint or something.
Kind of like how what's the name did with the airbrush.
The airbrushing on it. I think he airbrushed it before he did that, honestly.
Could have. At the end of the day, customize something. Don't just buy parts and slap them on.
Not everybody's going to need to customize the reel seat, but it's good to have the knowledge that it can be done.
Yep.
End of story. And that is not just limited to the inserts. You can do the hoods. You can attach extra materials to the hoods like cork, EVA, all that stuff. You can take part of the reel seat away. You can add back to the reel seat. You can do those quick locks that Hoof was doing.
Take 2 hoods and
make it, like the stationary. It's and it's on there. You don't have to do anything. Take a fly reel seat, expand it, make the foot a little bit bigger, and you don't have to do anything. You could focus the whole time on the reel seat section, and the rest of the rod can be, black, real simple, classy, cool. And you saw a lot of those that they spent time on the reel seat. The rest of the rod was pretty tame, from what we saw in those pictures. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. In 2 weeks we'll be back. We will talk to you later. So
bye.